It all started with a single rotting pumpkin. Yes, that pumpkin, half collapsed, gently leaking from its base, perched proudly on a dining table that hadn't been seen in 7 years. Welcome to Hoarders, a show that once made us feel better about our own piles of laundry simply by showing us that somewhere in Ohio, a grown man was living with 46 raccoons and a bathtub full of taxidermy catalogs. Hoarders wasn't just television, it was therapy. Not for the people on the screen, God no, but for us, the viewers, the judgmental masses in pajama pants, sipping wine at 11 a.m., watching a woman cry over expired pudding cups from 1993.
I had a choice of what I could eat. That affected me really, really severely.
In its heyday, Hoarders promised something noble, to help, to heal, to clean the unspeakable. We're not here to mock, they claimed, as the camera zoomed in on a dead cat in the freezer. It walked a tightrope between empathy and exploitation, and for a while it almost worked. Back then, the idea was revolutionary. Mental health on television, a serious, raw look at compulsive hoarding. What are we, the BBC? This was A&E, baby, the same network that brought you Dog the Bounty Hunter and Intervention. So naturally, we all tuned in to see how bad a house had to get before Child Protective Services showed up with a hazmat team. But oh, how far we've come, or rather, fallen. Before Hoarders became the internet's favorite disturbing meme, it began as a surprisingly serious idea. A&E launched it on August 17, 2009, and the premiere pulled in around 2.5 million viewers. It instantly became one of the most successful series debuts the network ever had. The concept sounded noble enough. Find someone overwhelmed by their belongings, bring in therapists and a cleaning crew, let the tears flow, clear the house, and declare victory.
You idiot! You want me to change your diaper?
Add a family member yelling, "You chose trash over me," and you had yourself award bait reality television. The creators promised this wasn't about spectacle. No cheap shots, no exploitation. It was billed as a deep psychological exploration of what objects mean to people, which is a fancy way of saying, we're going to talk about trauma while staring at a mountain of empty margarine tubs. Critics actually praised it. Even the mental health world took notice. By 2013, hoarding disorder became officially recognized in the DSM-5, and the show helped bring public awareness to a condition that had been quietly hidden for years. Not bad for a program airing between storage wars and parking wars. At its peak, Hoarders had a kind of accidental grace. Yes, the images were revolting. Yes, it was trauma porn adjacent. But it also gave a name to something that had always been whispered about in suburbia.
Right now it's like overwhelming, and so it's really got me a little bit stressed out right now.
The houses everyone ignored, the relatives everyone stopped visiting, the people society had quietly thrown away under piles of wet newspapers and pizza boxes from the Clinton administration. For 6 seasons, it walked the tightrope. Part therapy, part shock value circus, but always with that disarming little disclaimer, hoarding is a mental disorder. Translation, we know this is messed up, but we said it nicely, so now it's okay to film this woman crying in a pile of dead birds. Yes, the golden years, before the smell of ethics started wafting in. At first, Hoarders was a grim kind of comfort food, the emotional equivalent of eating Cheetos while watching someone get evicted from a house filled with expired cat food and antique Beanie Babies. But as the seasons piled up, like the junk in a Sacramento hoarder's living room,
and we were quite content to spend time with each other,
something started to feel off. It began with a question, a small one, harmless, innocent. Are we supposed to be watching this? The early seasons tiptoed across the line between helpful and horrific, but by around season 4, the show felt increasingly eager to highlight the most intense emotional moments. Suddenly, it wasn't just about helping people, it was about pushing them, hard, for ratings. Online discussions, including stories from people claiming to have had family members on the show, described producers nudging for emotional breakdowns. Not support, not clarity, drama. They kept poking like, how do you feel about your dad choosing trash over you? One Reddit user said. Meanwhile, the cleaning crew was genuinely trying to help, but the cameras wanted tears. Because if you're not crying over 20-year-old dog feces in your hallway, is it really television? Then came the moments where help didn't always seem like the primary goal anymore. Take season 6's infamous Shauna and Linda episode, a case that became widely discussed online due to extreme living conditions involving waste storage and severe health risks. The editing made damn sure you didn't miss a second of it. Shockingly, audiences weren't sure how to feel about that. Some called it brave television. Others called it grossly exploitative. Most people just said, wait, did she say what?
They will be tormented day and night.
This was the moment the cracks became chasms. The medical disorder, secondary, the cleanup, background noise, the trauma, center stage. By later seasons, promos promised it would be more extreme than ever. And that wasn't just marketing fluff, that was a warning. You could see it in the editing, the tension, the soundtrack swelling like someone was about to defuse a bomb when in reality, it was just a guy opening a closet full of McDonald's wrappers in shame. And then came Andy and Becky, the couple who single-handedly turned Hoarders into Mad Max, Suburbia. In their 2019 episode filmed in Marysville, Washington, a massive amount of debris was removed from their property. Local outlets later referenced hundreds of tons involved in the cleanup effort over time.
I don't believe on throwing stuff away if I can use it later on down the road.
Their yard looked like a landfill had exploded and then enrolled in law school because, yes, they argued it was their constitutional right to live in a dump. Neighbors were calling the city was calling lawyers, the lawyers were calling therapists. And through it all, Hoarders rolled up with a camera crew and a contract because this was the turning point. This wasn't a show about helping people anymore. This was Dirty Olympics, emotional edition trademark. And oh, it gets worse.
We're about to enter this home and for the very first time hold a live intervention.
In 2015, the series tried a special presented with live elements during the Family Secrets era. Viewers and critics said it added little behalved spanning van and moglica emotionale meltdown in real time. Imagine tuning in to Grey's Anatomy only to find out its now fear factor with trauma. Reaction, brutal. Reality TV fans, no strangers to chaos, called it awkward, scripted, and soulless. Negative reception didn't help the show's momentum, but like any hoarder worth their weight in expired soup cans, the show just wouldn't let go. It came back in 2016, again in 2019, and again in 2020, each time claiming to be new, improved, more emotional, and, ironically, cleaner. But each time, the cracks showed more clearly. Every new episode was another exercise in discomfort, like watching someone's nervous breakdown with commercial breaks. Even the fan base started to fracture. Reddit threads shifted wow, this is eye-opening too. Why is every episode 2 hours long now? And are these confrontations staged? Longtime fans complained that the newer seasons felt repetitive, slower, and weirdly obsessed with showing people sobbing in their yards. Then there's the morality. Oh, sweet morality. Experts, actual psychologists, began questioning whether these high-pressure, short-term interventions can truly help. You don't heal trauma by throwing it in a dumpster and filming the process for ad revenue. Shocking, I know. And the aftermath? Not always pretty. Follow-up episodes and media coverage have shown that many hoarders continue to struggle, sometimes facing legal or housing consequences if things worsen again. Because mental illness doesn't obey production schedules. But hey, at least we got to see a time lapse of a fridge being power washed, right?
In my real life job is to help people to understand the psychological contributors to the problem.
Meanwhile, Dr. Robin Zasio, the show's long-standing mental health expert, has said publicly that participants are screened, supported, and given aftercare. If I thought it was exploitative, I wouldn't do it, she said in an interview. And I believe her. But that doesn't erase the discomfort, because Hoarders often feels like a Rorschach test for our worst instincts. Are we watching to understand mental illness, or are we watching to feel better about our messy kitchens?
When the kids were young, that was what I would call normal.
The cracks were never just in the walls, they were in the foundation. The very idea that you could combine compassion with entertainment without compromising either. Because Hoarders stopped being a show about helping people the moment it realized that suffering was its best performing character.
Not only knocking stuff over, but the pee, which smells, and their little turd things. It's disgusting.
Watching Hoarders today is like opening an old tuna can you found in your garage. You're not sure why you're doing it. You know it's going to smell weird, and in the end, you regret everything. It's not just that the show has gotten repetitive, it's that it's become predictably repetitive. You already know what's coming, down to the minute. Minute 1, slow motion shot of a rotting fridge. Minute 5, adult child crying in the driveway. Minute 15, the therapist says, "We're not here to judge," while clearly judging. Minute 25, someone finds a dead animal in a coffee can. Minute 43, commercial break, rinse, repeat, regret.
So to even get the call to come back was honestly a surprise.
The editing now feels like it was assembled by a trauma-generating algorithm. There's a playbook, an emotional IKEA manual. They just swap out the hoarder and the junk. Everything else is scripted pain with a dusting of Febreze. The big format twist, 2-hour episodes.
But we've seen a genetic tie to hoarding disorder.
Because apparently 60 minutes of human suffering wasn't enough. Now we get double the sobbing, double the awkward family interventions, and double the footage of people staring blankly at piles of old margarine tubs like they hold the secrets of the universe. And sure, there's still an occasional breakthrough, a moment where someone agrees to let go of a broken toaster from 1987, but it's drowned out by the sheer overproduction of it all. Every shot is a slow zoom. Every sound effect shrieks like a low-budget horror movie cue. Every confrontation is engineered for viral clips. Every sound effect shrieks like a low-budget horror movie cue. Speaking of viral clips, let's not forget that Hoarders has become meme fodder. TikTok edits now turn trauma into oddly satisfying cleaning montages.
Because otherwise my allergies will go bananas.
YouTube is flooded with Doctor Reacts to Hoarders videos, most of which are just a guy in a lab coat screaming, "Oh my God," while watching a woman stack adult diapers like they're Jenga blocks. And don't even get me started on the official Hoarders YouTube channel. Top 5 grossest houses should not be a playlist. That's not content. That's a war crime. The worst part, the show knows what it's doing. It leans into the grotesque now. It sells it. The disclaimers feel hollow. The empathy feels forced. The entire operation feels like a therapy session run by a marketing department. And the people on screen, they're not just subjects anymore. They're content, commodities, emotional piñatas dressed up as public service announcements. So yes, Hoarders is still on the air, but what used to be uncomfortable honesty has morphed into curated pain, vacuum sealed and ready for syndication. This isn't therapy, this is trauma theater. And we're all just sitting front row, popcorn in hand, asking, wait, how many dead cats did she say were in the freezer?
I'm not dead.
I got a bag of dead cats.
In theory, Hoarders was about help, healing, intervention. In reality, it was a slow motion car crash filmed in 4K with a therapist awkwardly standing in the passenger seat. Sure, it started with good intentions, maybe, but it quickly devolved into trauma turned content. The dead pets, the rotting food, the emotional breakdowns edited like reality show cliffhangers. Somewhere along the way, the mission changed from let's help people to let's top the last episode's body count. And now, it's a bloated, formulaic mess, a hoard of its own making. The fantasy almost worked, until it didn't, because you can't package a mental illness, slap some ominous music under it, and call it awareness. You can't fix years of trauma in 42 minutes and expect applause. And you sure as hell can't call it compassion while pointing a camera at someone having a breakdown next to a dead raccoon in the freezer. But hey, we watched it, we clicked, we memed it, so maybe we're the problem too. Like and subscribe, and comment below. At what point does helping just become hoarding pain for profit? And if you see me keeping a stack of newspapers from 1997, call a therapist, not a producer.